Thank you for being with us again this Sunday. It's another update today. So today is Sunday, March 26, 2023. It's the fifth Sunday of Lent. So it's gonna be myself, Evans, David Darling, Doug Campbell for an update and a briefing on all the activities that we have implemented this week. So it's been a fairly good week down in Cité Soleil with a little incident. I may mention that a little bit later.
Man, I'm doing the Zoom thing, okay?
So
Yeah, now.
Yeah, keep going, Evans. I muted Doug.
okay, so I may mention it a little bit later. That little incident that happened on our way to Cité Soleil this week. I shared that with Father Tom and Doug a little bit. So I think David Darling may tell us more about the video. It's about 5 minutes video. That David?
Yes, the video is about 5 minutes. It's going to show a little bit of our new clinic, our adult literacy program, where we have the students teaching all the teachers, and it's going to show this new wall that was constructed in Cité Soleil that divides territory.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So the situation is, I think there's some major fighting looming in Cité Soleil. The fact that some gang leaders, they claim the territory, build up some big wall, something like that. So it says that something very bad is gonna happen in Cité Soleil. So we think maybe we pray God that our student, our staff, and everybody will be fine, will be okay. So we're gonna try to do our best to protect them and to save them.
Thank you, Evans. Welcome everybody who's here. I'm glad you're here, and we appreciate you. We're not far away from Easter, so I thought I'd begin with a small reading. It was done by Bishop Ron Rolhide. No, Bishop, the guy in Detroit there. I'll remember in a minute. See you in a moment. Okay, begins with this. Jesus answered them, I am troubled now. Yet what should I say? Father, save me from this hour. But it was for this purpose that I came to this hour. Father, glorify your name. Then a voice came from the heaven and said, I have glorified it, and I will glorify it again. The crowd there heard it and said it was thunder. But others said, an angel has spoken to him. John's gospel doesn't have an account of the agony in the garden, but the deep feelings and thoughts Jesus experienced during the agony in the garden were probably expressed by him at other times, especially as he began to see his death looming before him. This passage from John's gospel may allude to the Gethsemane scene in other gospels. The theme of death in Christianity is never about dying or suffering for its own sake. It isn't the kind of death suffered by a throwaway bottle that's simply discarded after being used. Bottles and cans were made to be held and keep something inside. A human being is something quite different. I was never made to hold and protect something inside me. I was born to love, to be outgoing, self-giving. But something in me tries to prevent me from giving outside of my own interests and desires. I'm inclined to be self-centered, turned inward and rather than outward. And that self-interest is what has to die. It's not an easy death. It can be agony for me. There's a lot in me that tells me I would be happier receiving than giving. I want to be the center of the universe. I want to be self-centered. But when I die to my self-interest, it's a death with a purpose. It's a death that leads to the fullness of life. I thought we'd just take a moment in silence. And the person who wrote that was Bishop Ken Untner, who's a remarkable bishop and in Saginaw, believe it or not. Bishop Untner had one leg, and he would go around the diocese. He didn't have a place for himself. He would spend a month or two in each priest's rectory, and throughout the year. That's how he got to know them. And he was a remarkable man. They tell a funny story about his one leg. He was out golfing, and he was on there, and he hit a bad shot into the rough, and he went out there to get the ball, and he's looking around for it, and he steps on a bee's nest. The bees come flying out, and he comes out of the rough like that. He goes, Darn it, how come the beast knew which leg was which leg was real and which leg wasn't? The only bit is his real leg, not his fake one. And then another time he loved ice hockey and he was a goalie. And so he was playing a team in an adult league. And all of a sudden he took a really bad hit. And he got down. They're really messing around. They're hitting really hard. So he says to his guys, I'm gonna mess with these guys. He loosens up all the attachments to his leg that holds it to his body. So the next time they came down, they hit him really hard, but his leg goes flying off. He goes, "Oh, my leg." The other team starts freaking out, you know. Anyway, that was Bishop Ken Untner. He's really famous for the prayer. Can you put that prayer up there, David? It's the prayer of it's called the Oscar Romero prayer. But it wasn't written by Oscar Romero, it was written by Ken Untner. I think we have that. We'll put that up there and read that, I think. The reflection on the reflection I read after the gospel reading was written by Ken Untner. And he was famous for these, it's called the Little Black Book. And every year he put out a Lenten book, and they became really all the people in Saginaw will really love this bishop. You know, he was a master at teaching a good liturgy. If you go to Saginaw, you'll find that the liturgies are unique, but they're magnificent liturgies, and all the priests are really trained well for that. So here we are. This is written by Ken Untner. It helps now and then to step back and take a long view. The kingdom is not only beyond our efforts, it's even beyond our vision. We accomplish in our lifetime only a tiny fraction of the magnificent enterprise that is God's work. Nothing we do is complete, which is a way of saying that the kingdom of God always lies beyond us. No statement says all that could be said. No prayer fully expresses our faith. No confession brings perfection. No pastoral visit brings wholeness. No program accomplishes the church's mission. No set of goals and objectives includes everything. This is what we are about. We plant the seeds that one day will grow. We water seeds already planted, knowing that they hold future promise. We lay foundations that will need further development. We provide yeast that produces far beyond our capabilities. We cannot do everything. And there is a sense of liberation in realizing that. This enables us to do something and do it very well. It may be incomplete, but it is a beginning, a step along the way, an opportunity for the Lord's grace to enter and do the rest. We may never see the end results, but that is the difference between the master builder and the worker. We are workers, not master builders. We're ministers, not messiahs. We are prophets of a future that's not our own. Bishop Ken Untner. Why don't we go ahead now and Evans, thanks for being one. David, here's something why don't we start out and show the first part of that film, please? That'd be great.
Yep.
Hi, Jim Leonard. Hi. Oh, Goose Henderson's here too. I'm glad. Hi, Goose.
Hello, Doug. How are you?
Hey, good to see you, pal. I'm great, man.
I have it
But if it's any better, I couldn't live with myself.
I have my better half with me, Christina, so be
Hi,
careful.
Christine.
Hello, Doug.
Good to see everybody. Hi, Steve's there too. We have Jim Leonard with us. Small crowd, but it's okay. People are gonna watch it later. Let's go ahead and show that little clip, huh, David? Look at the size of that wall. That used to be about 8 feet tall. It's now probably 20 feet tall. It's to keep the sniper bullets from reaching the homes because of the angles. The angle's too tight to get through there. This wall separates basically the two rival gang leaders between Gabrielle and Iska. And of course, what you're looking at now is Evans. This is the adult literacy program, right?
Yes.
Yes. They're leaving the school after
I saw a
class.
remarkable thing recently, last week. There are eight classrooms filled with elderly and adults learning how to read and write. And the ones that were teaching them how to do that were our students. So it's one of those things that you can almost kind of shake your head and have to take a double take and realize, I don't know how that came about, but those are gifts. Those are gifts that we get. Evans?
But
Yeah, how often does this take place?
not again.
How often does this take place? These are the sessions with the adult literacy.
Oh, it's every day, 2 hours a day, from 2 o'clock to 4.
It's hard to imagine just how many people don't read and write. People over 30 or 40, and to see what happens when they start to learn how to do that, how their life changes, the world opens up. And is that one of our students or is it a professor?
And that's our student. They are in 9th grade.
What grade? Which grade?
9th grade.
Yeah, they're freshmen in high
9th,
school.
yeah. So they getting ready for national exam this year.
For what? The competition?
National exam.
Okay, they're studying for national
exam.
exams. Now, this is not the only time I've seen our students helping out the older folks and the adults, especially during the giving out of the food. They walk people home that are too weak to carry it. And we're beginning to finally see what we've always wanted to see. That's that the school may be tuition free, but it doesn't mean it's free. There's other ways to give back for what you're given. That music in the background is done by a wonderful fellow named Chris Leonard. He put together a Symphony of Hope. And we had to pay for every time we use the music, we'd be in trouble. This is Bellico, right, Evans?
It's in Fort Dimanche.
That's Fort Dimanche.
Yes.
We're completing the construction of a large clinic / chapel, and it's dedicated to a guy from Cincinnati who basically provided the funds. But this land was given. This land and a lot of land in the back was given to us by the mayor and deeded over to us. So we have plans to build a much larger, maybe another school or maybe another soccer field. We're still deciding, but certainly this is almost ready to go. What's left here on this thing, Evans?
That's the inside of the clinic.
Yeah. And we, I know it's recently, but we just decided we want to try to maybe make it a dual purpose facility. We have a nice chapel there and also space for a clinic as well. I know that was dumped on you, Evans, recently, but it came to us, Tom and I, and it was up here visiting in prayer. Somehow it was inspired us. Dave, you're getting kind of fancy, bro. It's okay, we can go.
Yeah, the incident I was talking about is I remember that was Monday about 11 in the morning. So we were on our way going down to Cité Soleil for a food distribution down at St. Anne School. And in the middle of the road, 2 vehicles stopped right in front of the truck with tinted windows.
Where exactly was this?
That was, I don't know if you know that road when you across the cemetery, that corner. We go to
Yes.
we go to the left to go to Cité Soleil. So
Yes, I know exactly. Yeah.
so six guys, 2 vehicles with tinted windows. They stopped right in front of the truck.
And
then
behind us
they-
too? And behind us?
No, in front of the truck.
Yeah, but so we couldn't back up though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they trapped us basically. You knew it was bad. You knew something bad was happening.
yeah. So they were like with heavy weapons, and they were like some sort of a mask to not recognize the face, something like that. So
Any motorcycles involved with them or just 2 vehicles?
there was some motorcycles so standing
Yeah,
both sides of the roads.
yeah.
I think they were ready to hijack the truck full of food, something like that.
Yes.
And then for some reason, I just roll down the windows and I said, "Hey guys, you don't know it's in together truck. We're on our way to deliver food to the student." And then one of them just look at the truck from the back to the front, and then it sees the logo and says, "Oh, okay, it's in together, so no problem. When you're gonna deliver food to our population?" I said, maybe it's something I can talk to Father Tom about.
We'll put that right in there. We'll put that on the agenda right away.
Yeah. So they were like, apologize that, and then say, "Okay, no problem, you can
Better not happen
go."
again. Is that what you said? It better not happen again?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mentioned that to Father Tom, so I don't know what we can do for them. We should try to do something.
Yeah, Evans, that happened to Tom and us one time down at, where the Home Depot place is, and that road that no one goes on. I don't think you were there that time, and they stopped us in the front and the back, just like that. And he came up with guns, and I'm sitting there, I go, "Vladimir, is that you? What are you doing out here this late?" He's like, "Hey, Doug, how's it going?" I go, "Guys, you gotta be careful. It's dangerous out here." Like, we know, we're the ones making it dangerous. So, by the time I was like, "Why don't you guys go home and stop playing around? Okay, have a good night." And you guys, be careful, he says to them. Like, you get nervous in those situations,
Yeah, that was very scary at the very beginning, but it ended very well. So thanks God.
Well, I mean, I think we have to be honest and frank. I mean, that didn't happen for no reason. That happened because for the last 25 years, Tom and myself, but mostly Tom, we've been going in there in the Cité Soleil daily, and when other groups pulled out during the really bad times, and I won't name them, but large aid agencies and assistance agencies, virtually everybody had to leave, and while everything was shutting down, what we were doing, we were opening new schools, we were starting new programs, and and so our roots grow very deep in these areas in Cité Soleil, and we've always been there during the worst of times, and we always say that to the people there, we're not going to abandon it, we're not going to we're not going to leave. We said we wouldn't. So we've been true to that, and I think that, thank God, that means something. Means a lot more. They hear a lot of promises from groups who come and visit from a church group or whatever, another delegation. They hear a lot of promises and everything, but few groups really ever return, or few groups really stay and make something. That's the reason we put the soccer field in. If you think about it, that money could be spent on a lot of other things, but the thing about the soccer field is it's an investment into the very place where they live. It's an investment into their very lives that won't be easily removed. And it says so loud and clear that you're important to us. You're important to us. We are in this together. Here's a little shot of an aerial shot of Port-au-Prince for everyone to see. It's Evans, where is that soccer field? What part is that in?
That's a downtown.
Yeah.
Next to the National Cemetery.
Yeah, that's right. So just gives you a little idea of just how crowded things are there. Why don't we have
that field it cannot be used right now. It's that territory is taken over by gangs.
Right.
So all our matches we host it in Dominican Republic right now.
Oh wow. Okay. How about David? What's the next thing we have on there? We got one of
Everything
those
was
flashy things or a logo again?
the fancy logo.
Yeah, man.
I think
Stephen
that might
Lambert's
be it.
Hi, Professor Lambert. Hope you're glad to see you. Oh, we have other people. Ed Cranston's here, and Rosemarie and Rita Collins. Mary Ellen Powers is here. Hi, Mary Ellen. Sean. A lot of people here. I'm sorry, I didn't see all these people. Jane and Jim Trowbridge. Theo Tierney's here. Wow, great. Del Morris is here. We have the McKinney's have joined us. Diane, I think Santilli, I think it is. We have Monica's with him. He's coming here. Diane, Monica, iPhone. Okay.
I got one more 40-second clip after.
Let's see it.
It's just a newer, wider pan of all the students with the food we're giving out. You can see a lot of them.
Right, I mean, for those most who haven't been with us, or haven't been plugged in lately, we've really been blessed to have the World Food Program kind of step in and help us with our food programs. We lost our feeding partner a couple months ago, and for reasons that were actually kind of silly, and so we didn't know how we were going to make it through the year. It's probably about $800,000 to run our food program, and that's to provide a daily meal for all the school children and to feed the elderly and provide several food distributions throughout the year during times when the schools aren't open as much. Evans, why don't you explain kind of how the World Food Program came into our life a little bit?
Oh, it's a
And
miracle.
by the way, Evans, you've been doing a great job nurturing that
Yeah.
relationship. Evans, done a great job.
It's-
Go ahead,
it's-
right there.
It's providential. I think the first thing, it's because they use our campus. It's the only one in Brooklyn area where they can give out food, because there was a major fighting in Cité Soleil in the middle of July. And after that, all nonprofit organizations feel the necessity to go out there and try to help. And then
Right.
the only place they can do it, it's our school in 1F.
Right, and so the World Food Program and all this food, they really had no way, no mechanism to deliver it to the people.
Yeah,
And they kind of stumbled upon our high school, right? Or St. Anne's, was it?
yes.
And just happened to be there when we were there, and tell us what happened.
And so they started giving out food, and then they get some information about us too. So the people tell them about what we've been doing in Cité Soleil, and so they contacted us, because that food distribution they delivered directly was for a couple of months, and then they had to turn to someone else, to another nonprofit organization.
Yeah.
We've been recommended by the population to do that, so they get to us, and we've been doing a very good job right now.
And Evans, just in comparison with the food that we were given, say last year or previously, is it similar? Is it the same? Is it more? What's the comparison there? The food, the amount of food we're getting.
Oh, even the hot meal we give out to the student, we kind of double the size, and because they really strict about that, they want the student to really have something in the stomach, and then they very strict about the 5 kilogram. We should give him twice a month.
And how much?
And
And when we were doing the feeding with our other partner, they also were very strict about how much to give, but for different, in a different way. They were trying to maximize the number of students they could get food into. So it
Yeah,
was smaller amounts. Is that right?
so they deal very differently. If we register like 4,000 students, they really want those 4,000 students to get a very fairly number of food to bring home and to eat at the school. They don't matter too much about how many million they give at me or something like that. No.
Right.
It's
Right.
it's kind of different.
What else have we been able to do? For just to give an example of last month, how much food came in and what did we do with it?
I think we should do an update, because last time we calculated it was about $200,000 a price of the food we've been received from them, and then last weekend we have a major delivering at the center, so we should update that. It could be about $350,000 US dollars.
Total or in
Total.
addition to?
Total.
So just to give you an idea, the entire food budget for the previous years would have been right around 400 something thousand with with the food being donated. And then with the bulk of that, the sauce and all that was paid for us. We have to add an additional, about additional 200,000 in addition to the money, the food that was donated. We had to spend that, and so that was for a school year. So we've gotten in 1 month or 2 months almost the entire amount of food that we had for the year previously. So correct me if I'm wrong, Evans, but the relationship with the World Food Program is growing quickly and in the right direction, that there's discussions between us, and I have to go down there next week to choose us to be the kind of the point person or the point organization for all the distributions for all the groups in City Soleil almost will flow through us. Is that something you're discussing with them?
We are, I think we have a meeting coming up next week with the Higher Chief of United Nations, Padre Tom, and I, we should meet
I'll be there
her
with you.
and discuss about all of that. They would like to expand the beneficiaries of the food we giving out every day.
So it's really a remarkable thing. It's forced us to a little bit like when we had the earthquake problem in front of us. We really prayed for someone to help us get food, and we got more food than we know what to do with. It's actually so much that we may have to relocate all the food into separate storage facilities so we don't attract the attention on the unwelcome attention from groups that want to steal that. And now we're facing, of course, we'll be facing, of course, the pressure from a lot of groups that want food, and now they have to kind of go through us to get it, which is a responsibility as well. That I'm not always sure it's a good thing for us, but we have to cooperate with what's given to us. Yeah, get a little bit more here. Here you go. Here's an idea. So I'll be coming back there, I think, next week with Tom. Tom is in Missouri doing a mission appeal right now, in Kansas City area. And he'll be swinging by here and grab him. We'll be headed back down next week. I'd love to welcome everybody. If anyone has any questions for Evans or myself, I wouldn't bother trying to ask David anything. All he does is play around with logos and things. But feel free, David. You can, people can unmute, and if there's anything they'd like to say, or we can just say a prayer and wish people a good Sunday. But I'm just so delighted everyone's here, and we should have mass back up here next week for everybody. Let me see if any new people have come up since we started here.
Yeah, anyone can unmute themselves. It's not locked.
Oh, people can unmute themselves. Okay. We say hello to everybody here, huh? All right, we already spent time saying hi to Goose and Christina. Of course, the Leonards, we get tired of saying hi to them. All right. Rita Collins is here. Rosemary, Mary Ellen Powers, from Jones Day.
Hey, Doug, how you doing?
Hi, Mary Ellen. Hi, how you doing?
Good.
So,
wait, where you going? Good.
who's there?
Good. No, why you go way out there?
Oh, here's someone else. Ed Cranston. Hi, Ed. Good to see you. Sean. Jim Trowbridge. Hi, Jim. Everybody. Phil and Barb McKinney. Good to see you. Diane, Monica. Wow, really happy you guys are here. Thanks a lot, everybody. We've been really blessed by all the people that come to the Zoom Mass and our companion program. Just the amount of support that comes in every month from a lot of it's new people that I know that knew, probably some of you guys knew some new people, and it's told about the Zoom Mass. So hey, thanks a lot for everything. What else? Hi, Matt Campbell. That's my brother over there.
Hey, Doug, could I ask you a question?
Who's that?
That's Goose.
All right, no tough ones.
No, don't worry. Curious, can you give us a sense of the gangs on the ground? And is there any kind of police force? Is there any sort of political protection, or is it just all gang territorial stuff that you guys have to negotiate all the time? Thanks.
Thank you for the question, Goose. That's great. Evans, why don't you start? We'll start with you. Maybe you can help me there a little bit.
First of all, I would like to say that the police, it's like overwhelmed. Because the numbers of police, it's not enough. We got 9,000 police for 12 million. And
No, I think that we have what, 9,000 police for 11 million or 12 million people. Is that right?
yes, so, and they got very limited weapon and ammunition to fight the gangs. And at another level, there's no a politics, how can I say that, a will desire to fight the gangs, because they use them for political agenda. They use them to control territory, to get elected. And then the prime minister right now is not officially elected. He gets the power after the assassination of the president. It should be have an election after 3 days taking the power. So now it's been 2 years. It keeps the power. So as soon as the court is not
One second here, Evans.
the power.
So it's a complex question, and indeed, you know, indeed, you're probably thinking, where's the official police, or where's the official, you know, justice system that's made to deal with this? It's so, a police officer gets paid about $100 a month, and it's a job that is just incredibly difficult. And so they're, as you said, they're so overwhelmed, and there's no will from the leadership to even have them confront and do something about the gangs, because the leadership is using the gangs for their political, you know, the political future. And so it's a real problem. And go on, Evans, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but then, you know,
Yeah.
Bruce was asking about, you know, the outlook and everything like that.
So the prime minister, as soon as, so more the violence is continuing, say the longer you keep the power. So
So the instability and the fighting are actually welcomed by the current guy. They were supposed to, the Constitution has a provision in it that when there is an overthrow or something in the government like that, or death like that, there's supposed to be a special election held rapidly, within a week
Yeah.
or something. Yeah, and it's been 2 years. So this guy is, he doesn't want to have an election. It's in some ways it's a joke to call the guy a prime minister. He's really a dictator, is what it is.
yeah.
So
But sadly, this government, they have support from the international community. So they keep the power, they do everything they want. No one can question them. So that's the
explain why the international community gives the support to this current administration. How does that happen?
For example, it's been appointed by the international community. They just sit down, they meeting together, and then they make a tweet. So it's been appointed just by a tweet from the international community. Says is the one they choose, is the one appointed to be the next prime minister. So,
and so
I don't want to be too political. That's the problem.
No. You just explain the situation. So there's no real end in sight for when there's going to be a president duly elected, properly elected, right?
Yeah. So
we have
the same international community that appointed them, just making a tweet, should be the ones who kind of see the results right now. The people that are dying, the gangs that are taking over the country, all the kidnappings that going on, they should make another tweet, try to appoint someone else, or to take some decision, so they don't do anything.
Right. They basically wash their hands of it.
Yeah.
So you have a real state of chaos there, as far as I can tell, Goose, and a lawlessness, and you know, it's one of those things. The more I delve into this thing, it gets complicated. It gets messier and messier.
Right. So the politics are compromised. The police really don't carry any authority, and they're in harm's way. And there's like 30 times more police in New York City than there are in Haiti per capita, I guess.
Yeah.
So how do you negotiate? Aren't there like 5 gangs on the ground? And how do you have to deal with all of them, or do you have to deal with just 1 or 2 of them? Just wondering the kind of how complex it is for you guys to negotiate things on the ground.
Well, Evans can help me here too, but for the last, say 15 years, we began working with the leadership. We'll call them the community leaders, the gang leaders is a term I'd like to maybe change and say, you have to remember that this areas of Cité Soleil, there is no real justice system. There's no functioning local government to go to. So when say someone, so for instance, somebody in our kitchen worker is assaulted or something like that, there's no one to go to about that. There's no one to provide. So there's a vacuum. There's a vacuum inside of Cité Soleil, and nature abhors a vacuum, of course. And so something's going to fill. And what happens is that the local leadership, the gang leader, we'll call them the community leader, they step in and provide some sort of a functioning system of government in a way, if you will. And so when we began working with the gangs a long time ago, it was over food. We had no really relationship with them, and we were trying to get food, and it's a similar situation as it is now. And we tried to bring a school bus full of food in, and we got about a quarter of a mile into Cité Soleil, and then all of a sudden we were attacked and shot. The bus was shot up and everything. And so we're saying to ourselves, we got to find a way to deal with this. So we called a meeting for the local leaders, the gang leaders, to come and meet us on the roof of our Saint Veronica school. And they all came in, and we sat down, and we said, look, we'd like to try to get food in. People are starving, and people are going in and out, and we'd like to have you help us do that. And you can take credit for it if you want. But we see a need here. And they said, okay. And what happened was we had the three top gang leaders in the Cité Soleil slum, and then underneath them would be what we call sub leaders. And we decided that we would deal directly with the 3 top guys only, and all of the ones. There'll be a lot of people coming, sub gang leaders coming up to us, wanting us to do special deals on. We only dealt with the top 3, and whenever we met with one, we met with the other 2, and we were completely transparent all along. And we never had them sign, hey, I heard you visited Gabrielle yesterday, and so we made a real point to equally and transparently interact with all the gang leaders there. And we saw the coming and goings of several of them, legends as far as that kind of leadership goes. In the current situation, things have evolved so that now there are 2. Evans, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's really 2 main in Cité Soleil, 2 main forces. You're on either on one Gabrielle side or on Iska side, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Right. And then so you have that's within Cité Soleil, and then there's a lot of gangs that are powerful that are not in Cité Soleil, like Barbecue, for instance, and he would be aligned with. But for us, we I told the story that it was like, I don't know, a year ago, and when there were people from Gabrielle's army that were severely wounded, and if they didn't get medical treatment, they were going to die. And so myself and Evans and all, we brought a doctor down, we opened up the hospital, we treated those guys. And the next day, Iska called us into his office, and I didn't know if I was going to make it out of there alive that day. Honestly, he was so furious. And I said, look, we have no dog in the fight here. If your guys are injured, we're going to help those guys. So we've done a pretty good job, I think, of being consistently transparent, and whatever we do on one side, we do on the other, that kind of thing. But it's awful tricky stuff.
Hey, Doug, last question. Is Hands Together the only organization that provides the food, the medical, the water, the education to the people of Cité Soleil, which I guess is about 500,000 people?
Yeah, I can't say that we're the only one. Evans, why don't you answer that? Just who would be the primary groups that are operating, realistically operating in any type of legitimate way down there? besides us? Father Rick?
Hmm.
Any others? Evans?
Yeah, the problem with the other ones, they sometimes they if things get very tense, very violent, they just pull back until it's quiet again. So us, we constantly meeting with those guys, try to do our best to bring peace back and try to do something to help them. So we've been very, very helpful to the population. If someone talk to them, they probably recommend us first before they recommend any of the others.
Yeah, so when things are calmer, Goose, and when things are safer, you see a return of a lot of these smaller groups that come back or whatever. But as far as, I think I would say, I could say that we're probably the largest organization that does the most education there, right? I would say. As far as the system of educational system.
Yeah, for example, there's a hospital, Doctors Without Borders,
Sure.
operating in Cité Soleil. Because of the fighting, they closed down, they moved somewhere else. So
yeah,
so we do the exactly opposite. We open up more facilities to bring hope to the people.
That's the ironic thing, Goose. The worse it gets down there when things, you would think, when things are, people are shutting down things, the more activity comes to us. So the more burden comes to us, if you want to say, whatever you want to call it, but we have a lot more on our plate when the other groups aren't there anymore. So
Well, you're doing amazing work. Know how much it's appreciated.
great. Thanks a lot, Goose. We appreciate you. Okay. Thanks for the questions. Thanks everybody for being here. Any other questions, or just why don't we just end with a prayer? If that's okay. Let me get something good here. All right, Evans.
What about Matthew?
Who?
Matthew has his hand up.
He does? Matthew. Who said that? Go ahead, Matthew. Unmute yourself.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I'm Doug's brother. Been down to Haiti several times. It's really good to see everybody. Doug, I feel like I feel like I have a dog in the fight when I hear about you down there, but you're doing great work. I'm really happy about it. Makes me nervous every time you go down, but thanks for doing all the work you guys do. Evans, great to see you. And David, good to see you with all your special effects. It's great. I do want to say that I think it's great that everybody's going down there, and Doug, that I really like the new facility there that you've got going, that you're going to do for on a positive note. That's great to have for. You said you're going to have it for as a chapel or something. Is that correct?
Right, yeah,
Chapel slash school area.
Yeah, looks like that's happening. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful that you're doing that kind of work down there, Doug. Okay.
Thanks,
All right, I
Matt.
love you, bro, and I'll talk to you soon. Let's get to a prayer. If anybody else, unless anybody else wants to speak.
Thank you.
You're welcome, brother. Love you.
All right. Yeah, David, anybody, any prayer requests or anything?
We're in the dining room.
Anybody have any prayer requests for people? Okay, all right. Well, it was nice just to come together for about an half an hour with everybody and just let you know what we're trying to do down there. And thank you for your support, everyone. I'm just gonna read a little prayer here. Where is it? Here it is. One second. One second, everybody. Here we go. Here we are. See if we can figure out who prayed this. When we overcome by sadness, fear, or suffering, when the pains of loss overwhelm us, when evil seems to have taken power, let us look to the cross and be filled with peace, knowing that Christ has walked this road and walks it now with us and with all our brothers and sisters. Yeah, Saint Teresa of Avila. one of the things that attracted me to the Catholic faith as a convert when I was starting my journey with as a Catholic was that as I began to know more about the religion, I was just struck, and so no other God could be followed by except the one that is offered to us in the Catholic faith, and that is a God that not only understands the suffering that we are going through, but chooses to suffer right along with us, and that's something that I guess you can't. What can you say? I mean, that's the kind of God I'll follow anywhere. So thanks for being here, everybody. Love you all. Take care.
Love you, bro.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks all.